Now, moving on to session 2, the real value of NFT and future artists. This is going to be a panel discussion. This session is moderated by Sean Bonner, the Web3 advisor. So let me introduce two panelists, the artist and also associate professor of Tokyo University of Arts Department of Design, Subuto Niko, and another artist, Ms. Kawai Skull. Okay, Sean, floor is yours.
Mr. Bonner, please.
Yeah, Hi, I'm Sean Bonner. I used to run an art gallery in Los Angeles for about 10 years, and this was when I first met Joey Ito. I worked with artists like Space Invader and Shepard Fairey, and other artists who were playing with mediums and applications and challenging the question and the concept of what makes something art. And I think that work from a lot of these artists went on to help shape that question and revise what people expected when they were thinking of art. During the same time, I started building hackerspaces and blogs because I saw these as creative incubators where people could come together and share ideas and be inspired by each other's work and then build something new that they might not have come up with on their own ahead of time. All of these projects kind of have a similar theme of community empowerment. This is where people can build their own structures and systems to help each other out rather than having to rely on or get permission from a third party or some outside authority. I put those ideas to work with a nonprofit that I co-founded with Joey, actually here at the New Context Conference in 2011, just after the Fukushima earthquake, called SafeCast. We helped people to collect radiation data, measurements around their house, around their neighborhoods, and then share this data out into the world to a global audience. And in this way, giving them ownership and power over their own data and their own measurements, and also helping other people to understand what was going on with all of it. We worked with KO and MIT to explore how blockchain might be able to make this data that we were publishing more trustworthy for outside communities. So these concepts of art and technology coming together has always been very interesting to me and has manifested in different ways. In the beginning of 2020, when everyone got very excited about NFTs, I started writing about this on my website, initially because I wanted to help my artist friends understand what the blockchain was and also to help my blockchain friends understand how artists work. This led to I started to mint my own photographs as NFTs to explore myself and see how that goes. I started to reach out to my old artist friends like Shepard Fairey and think about how generative technology might help influence and inspire the next steps in his own work. And so we worked on this project called Degenerate, Regenerate together, and it explored this idea. I've consulted with a number of other artists and projects to help them understand what's going on with this, to find authentic ways to get into Web3, to see how their work could translate to this new medium. I talk about this all the time on Twitter, so if you're interested in following along. I'm very excited about the future. I think this has a chance to be very revolutionary for artists and change a lot of the dependence that artists have had on systems in the past. Thank you.
Is it me?
Yeah, I think it's you.
Oh, me?
I think so.
Let's see what slide's going to come out.
This doesn't work anymore.
Oh, so that's going to be me. Okay. I think I'm going to introduce myself in Japanese because most people are Japanese here, and then discussion I'll mix the language. But スプツニコという名前で
My name is Sputsuniko. I'm an artist.
後ろで
So I would like to play my title or work. I'm an artist and using technology and also bioengineering. I try to share these could be the future of these technologies and also technology and also genders and also feminism. These are the always the topic of my art. The video installation device, I have been creating these. So other than being an artist, I'm also serving as the associate professor at the Tokyo University of the Art Department of Design. I also worked as the assistant professor at the MIT Media Lab. And last year, SBI for the first time done the NFT art auction. And there was a Bloomberg machine.
購入いただいて
And they bought the Bloomberg machine, and after that, the Seiri machine. The in the foundation, one collector bought it with 50 ESA, and a moonwalk machine, the 52 ESA. So generative, for example, Kawaii Skull, you are creating 1,000, 10,000. But I usually produce unique piece or lower a number of edition.
これちょっと
And I'm showing you animation. The next month,
7月7日に
July the 7th, in London, Bright Moment,
NFT アートの
NFT art, but very famous.
すごいデジタル
Well, NFT, you probably think of the digital technology, but the bright moment is to display NFT art in a real physical exhibition. It's done in New York, LA, and Berlin. And next month, it's going to be in London. And I'm going to introduce my own NFT, 100 generative NFTs. And it's still in development process, so this is not the final. But last year, September, I gave birth to a child, and that became a great experience for me. The smart contract is involved in the NFT. So you can create art that's changing even in the NFT world. Like this art was born as a bud, but every or 40 weeks it grows. It's almost like a life. The work also change, or people can also raise or develop the NFT. So 100 generative NFT pieces, and it's a space installation so that these NFT float in the space NFT. So that's what I'm doing right now. Nice to meet you. My name is Kawai Skull. So I am an artist, and my artist name is Kawai Skull. And as an NFT connection, I produced 10,000 Kawai Skull product called the Collective NFT. Last year, March, at Beeple, I learned about NFT. I was learning photography, but decided to be an artist instead of working at a company. And July last year, for almost 4 months, I produced 10,000 Kawaii Skull works. So 4 months, I created 10,000. And February this year, Artifact, the Clone X CEO, bought my work. So February the 14th, all of the 10,000 works were completely sold. So I'm right now in process of sort of between my works. The unique feature of the Kawaii skull is that I use computer programs called the regenerative technology, and I couldn't really work on a program, and I had enough time, so I handmade it. I handmade 10,000 works. Usually people use JPEG and others, but I created with GIF animation, and I had a story. It took 4 months, so one artist created 10,000 works in 4 months. That was a story. So hope to evolve the Kawaii skull as an artist.
So by means of community. So Kawaii skull. Approximately 4,150 people are now the owner for this collection. And in Japan alone, Takashi Murakami.flower, the community. The second, I would say, in Japan is the largest sort of community that has grown too. And in terms of my achievement, well, the real exhibition called Crypt Bar. I'm coming up with the design. It's a real and also both virtual. We are now I'm expanding the realm of my activity. So that will be all. Thank you.
So I would like to ask, let me start with you, Spaniko. As we both have a history in the sort of the old art world that we could complain about for a long time, I would like to ask what you find exciting and perhaps different about what's happening with NFTs. Yeah.
Well, last year when I sold my work through the NFT auction, I was really I'd been working in the art world, but a lot of my works, especially video work, it was and a lot of my work's in digital format, so it's sometimes quite difficult to sell digital data. So the potential of NFTs for artists like me selling videos or working a lot on the online space, it was really amazing for me to think about it, discover it. And also, I think the community, pre-NFT, the contemporary art community tended to be quite closed, a little bit exclusive.
Sure.
And NFT community seemed a lot more open and inviting, and also valuing a lot of experiment. It was really exciting for me to enter the space and discover all the new things that's possible.
That's great.
Yeah.
So similarly, Koesko, as a new artist, what made you decide to start with NFTs as opposed to a more traditional pathway of creating an artist career or something? What drew you to NFTs as this is where you wanted to begin?
NFT トラディショナルなアートじゃなくてなぜ NFT で
僕自身はその
Well, my animation itself, I really loved my animation, and due to COVID, the digital service had become universal. And the world of art, I thought there would be a digital transformation disruption. So creating this work, and with the NFT, now come to know of it, the way of how you be able to represent your artwork, and in terms of your animation, in terms of the 3D VR, that's very hard to put it on the market for sale. there was a new way of expression, and that is the area that I was intrigued, and I wanted to also get into that world. So that was my starting point.
That's great. So one thing that I noticed, both of you have sort of artist names that you use, right? That's like your persona as an artist, and this is a very common thing in the art world. But once we get to online, and especially with blockchain, anonymity or pseudo-anonymity becomes a much more common thing, and there's many people creating art that we don't know who they are in any way. So I would like to ask what you feel about how that impacts or what role that plays in representation of genders and races and all sorts of nationalities. How does who you are translate into a world where people are anonymous by default, perhaps?
Sure. So for me, I've been using Sputniko, the pseudonym, for quite a long time, but unfortunately, I showed my face, so people know that this is me, Sputniko. But some of my artist friends, whenever I have a call with them, they never show their real face. They're always using their avatars, like 3D avatars. So I think you do see some people in Web3 space operating completely anonymously, just using avatars, pseudonyms, and I think that gives, like, unfortunately, maybe I could create another identity. Maybe I can secretly do that, but I think that does give you quite a lot of freedom, interesting freedom in terms of crossing gender boundaries and culture boundaries. But I guess still, though, it's difficult to go over the language boundary. Like a lot of the Web3 community, arts community, conversations in English. And also, like, I'm based in Japan, so even though I speak English, so I'm part of the Unicorn DAO, which is a DAO founded by artist Pussy Riot, who's amazing, a really great artist. But the calls they have, it's like 3 a.m. in Japan. So I think time zone and the language is a bit difficult to overcome. But otherwise, in terms of identities, you have a lot of freedom, I think.
匿名性について。
匿名性、はい。
Well, anonymity. Well, myself,
なんか他の国
well, compared to other countries, the difference, the visuals and the differences,
ものがなくなって
it disappears in a way. So hard to say, but
同じようなちょっと待ってくださいね。
hold on, I had to solve my mind.
Lost in translation.
Anonymity. So the Web3 anonymity. So you have handle name and avatars and your freedoms. Well, the Japanese, not a sort of general Japanese, the avatar that you have decided on. Having that kind of dialogue, I think the socialization is really interesting, I would say.
I also really find it interesting how speaking of the avatars, people are using avatars to sort of indicate membership in a community or a group. So maybe in the old web, we would have just one avatar that we used everywhere. But now perhaps we have different avatars for different communities to show that we're a member and we're participating in that. And how those avatars project something, but also remove something. So I may use a female avatar on something just because that's the piece that I have. Maybe it's a female-based collection. That doesn't necessarily mean. Anyway, I find this blurring of the lines to be quite interesting with who you're. Yeah.
But I recently did a new art project, which I haven't publicly released yet online, but I could mention a little bit. So I was interested in avatars and experimenting with avatars. And I was interested in creating avatars in the metaverse that menstruated, because I created the menstruation machine. So I thought, well, what if avatars can menstruate? On Decentraland, I created wearables for male avatars and female avatars to menstruate. And I actually tried to put these up so that people could purchase it and use it. But Decentraland unfortunately said that any form of menstruation is not allowed in the metaverse. So I had to really argue and debate with them why menstruation is not allowed in the metaverse. And in the end, they said that if the blood is blue, it's allowed. So I was like, no, I don't bleed blue blood. So I decided to exhibit the whole conversation as a piece, an artwork. So, you think Web3 is open and crossing gender boundaries, but actually they are, for example, Decentraland menstruation is not allowed in the metaverse.
So things maybe aren't as quite decentralized as they would be advertised.
Yes.
Well, I think that we're out of time, but that would be a wonderful thing to explore going forward. But thanks everyone for the time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sorry. That was so short.
パネリストの高田孫さん、ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.